Yes, we can definitely talk about it. If you weren't aware, Atlanta 3, 250, the first main, when they red flagged it, it was because of Chris Blose. They ended up taking him out on a helicopter. They didn't talk about it much, which I can understand because it's a scary situation. It's not something that you really want to show on TV that much. And I'm a little bit disappointed in our media of our sport because nobody's really given updates, at least not the major ones, which I consider like a Racer X or Swap Moto Live or something like that. I just haven't seen very many updates, and that's disappointing. So I don't normally do this, but I'll give an update. Watching the broadcast, I didn't even know that he was taken out in a helicopter, so obviously they didn't talk about it much, but that means that his condition was not very good. But initially we did get an update from his wife, and she said that he was awake, he could feel everything, they're waiting on scans, etc. for full extent of body and head injuries. It was looking good. And then finally we did get an update from Chris himself saying, first of all, I just want to say thank you everybody for reaching out to check on my well-being. Good news is I am back home after a big crash that wasn't even my fault. After taking a helicopter to the hospital and getting scans to my head, neck, and chest, everything turned out to be okay with those. I got lucky enough to only get a broken thumb and fractured a couple ribs. I can't thank everyone enough for the love and support through this time. I'll keep everyone in the loop as I find out if surgery is needed. Thanks again. So everything is looking pretty good for Chris. Broken thumb, couple broken ribs. You don't want even that, but as far as everything else goes with his head, with neck, that kind of thing, everything is looking good. So that's a big positive. And now he'll be on the road to recovery. Hopefully it won't be too long and we can see Chris back out on the track soon. Like I said, I'm a little bit disappointed with our media and our sport. This is not something that I normally do, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll start doing this because it seems like the privateers, they just kind of get the shaft with almost everything. With the way that they're treated at the races, media, rules that are against them, that kind of thing. Yeah, privateers get the shaft quite a bit. And that's something that I've always kind of hated about our sport is the way that privateers are treated. So maybe I'll start talking about privateers more on this channel. I've been trying to think of a way to change things up a little bit. I'm kind of tired of talking about the same people over and over and over. So maybe I'll try to start shining the spotlight on some of the privateers of our sport. Kind of help them out a little bit because I myself am a privateer. I know how they're treated. I'm not as good of a privateer as them and I don't do Supercross, but I still understand the position that they're in. And they definitely need more exposure. Another interesting take about that whole situation with the red flag was the owner of Chris Blose's team. This is pretty interesting. He put on Instagram, as owner of AJE Motorsports, I sit in the hospital at Chris Blose's bedside, thinking how this could and should have been avoided. I put much blame on AMA and the medical staff. The rider who caused Chris to crash not only today, but Tuesday should never have been allowed to be on the track. This individual had 3 major crashes, and AMA felt he was okay to keep riding. This decision was made on the track without any real medical exam. This individual is clearly not riding in the right state of mind, and this accident and many more could be prevented if they didn't favor certain teams and riders and did what's best for all. We as a team, and I know Chris personally wants to say thank you for everyone checking up on him. We got lucky this time, and Chris will escape with minor injuries. I myself wasn't too impressed at Atlanta 2 with McAdoo being allowed to race the second red flag with them giving like a very basic concussion test. And then at Atlanta 3, crashes again in practice. And in the main, I understand where the owner of AJE Motorsports is coming from, where it seemed like McAdoo was just very unlucky at the race, but I don't know if that's quite how it actually was. You can only be so unlucky, and for him to be involved in that many sketchy situations kind of seems like possibly he is to blame for a lot of those sketchy situations, and maybe he wasn't riding in the right mind to be racing, just like the owner of AJ Motorsports said. Just something to think about with McAdoo and how he was riding. When you're in that many situations, sketchy situations with other riders, I feel like the blame has to be put on you, and you can't just say that you were super unlucky. I'm not talking about the Marchbanks incident, but just all around. He crashed so many times at Atlanta. So maybe he wasn't quite clear-minded after the Atlanta 2 crash. But this is just something to think about. There is a concussion protocol for a reason, where we take a concussion test to have a baseline. They have that for a reason. A basic concussion test where it's follow my finger, answer my questions, I don't think that cuts it when you have a protocol in place for something like that. And that incident could be just another situation where AMA, Feld, FIM favor certain riders and certain teams over others. And most of the time, that is factory riders and factory teams compared to privateer riders, privateer teams. And that's not okay. So Chris, I hope you're all good. It sounds like you're going to recover 100% just fine. Hopefully that recovery goes quickly so we can see you back out on the track again. And you can keep killing it, because you've been killing it and you get zero exposure, and that sucks. So there you go. There's the update on Chris, because the major dudes aren't covering it. This isn't something I normally do, but I'll do it this time because they're not talking about it, and that's a shame. Go support him. Go follow him on Instagram. But yeah, Chris, heal up quickly so we can see you back out on the track. Just killing it, dude. You're gnarly. You're a lot gnarlier than I am.